So guys, not my normal sort of video. I want to discuss this pandemic slightly. Now, I'm sure this video might be demonetized or even took down just due to what I'm going to say in a second. I've put a little bit on about us and a map and these lockdowns, how will they work? Now, if you don't know, if you're not in UK or you don't know, you haven't seen it on news, they've locked down half of London today, but they announced it sort of yesterday. So what's happened is there's been a mass exodus. I'll put a couple of clips in. But if you're going to put a lockdown on, you allow people to move to a different part of the country because everything was open until today, I think it is, in London, where they've actually put this is coming to reality. So thousands of people have got on trains and got out of London. So if it is these areas that have locked down are really terrible and full of this pandemic, COVID, what's going to happen now? They're going to move potentially carriers to different parts of the country and spread it around the country and make that even worse. Another thing, what they put out, that it's mutated. This were only the other day, but they found several mutations of it all over the world a few months ago. Now, when something like this mutates, it might become more infectious, but in general it becomes less deadly because the virus must thrive. Yeah? For it to thrive, if it killed every patient, the virus would die with the patient. So maybe when it first come out and people were actually falling dead in the street like what we saw in China, whether they're real or not, I don't know, then that might have been a really deadly strain of it. But it's mutated so it can spread to more people, but it's less deadly, right? Because it needs to survive. It wants to survive in its own way, how it works. Yeah. But like I said, there's a mass exodus in London. I have just been searching, I hope you're watching still, I have just been searching for death rate charts for the UK on a yearly basis. Total death rates on a yearly basis. I've used 2 search engines. I cannot find one that will give me year to year to year to year for some reason. I wonder why that is. Now, that's very suspicious to me. I've seen these charts on Twitter and other places, but I cannot find one on the internet. I've used different search terms: yearly, annually, mortality, UK, blah, blah, blah. If anybody can help me with that, I'd appreciate it. I'll put a couple of... This is a clip of London. And here's another clip of London. People escaping. And here is the map of where we are in shutdown, because they've shut down all non-essential shops in my canton, Argyle, and this explains it a little bit better with the map as I show you. Right. Hope you carry on watching and leave a comment in. So guys, this is what I'm talking about. Now, this is where I live. There's a little house on there you can see. I'm not going to go and hover over it because it gives my exact address, which some of you have got, but most people haven't, so I won't be exactly revealing that. But if you can see that line, that's the River Ara. This, where I live, this is Canton Argyle. Right? That's the River Ara. You can see that dotted line. That there is Canton Solathorn. Yeah? And on this side, you can see that little T section there. That follows up that river. That is Canton Bern. So I live right on the edge of 3 cantons, right in the corner. Now, because they've closed all the shops here, where we used to shop, there's a big shopping centre in this direction. There's all shops along here, and there's a big shopping centre by motorway, massive shopping centre. There's a couple of big hardware depots, and there's everything you could want, electronics, sports, everything, but they've closed all them down in my canton, yeah? So the other choice is to drive up here, and there's another shopping centre up here with a big co-op and a bow and hobby building and stuff, but it's not as big as the one in our canton. It's a lot smaller, yeah, in Langenthal. There is a lot of shops there, again, sports shops and stuff, everything you would want Christmas time, say. So what happened is they've closed all my canton non-essentials. Supermarkets are open, even the petrol stations closed now on Sunday nights, or it were last week that, but now everything's, apart from non-essentials, is closed, but just in my canton. So therefore what happens is everybody who lives in this area, yeah, all the villages and small towns in this area, and all the villages in small towns in my area that are near this on this side at Canton, are all going shopping to do the last stuff in here. My wife went out yesterday. She was yesterday picking up some last presents and stuff, and it was absolutely packed, right? Absolutely nuts. And I don't know whether they want to stop people getting the virus or whether they want everybody to get it, because all you're doing is concentrating all the people from here now into here. All the people from here that used to shop over here into here. So you're actually making a massive concentration of people. Now, you know, I'm not an expert, I'm not a clever man, but even I can see that if you close all the shops in this area, then all the people from this area are going to drive to this area or this area to do the shopping, which makes even more concentration of people and more risk, in my opinion, that people would get the dreaded lurgy, or whatever you want to call it, the flu. I will say, my wife knows about 6 people who have had it, right? Now, 2 people have died, and they were clients for the firm she works for. Now, one of the people who died had fallen at the side of a bed, because she's a client. They look after old people and people who need some home help after operations and things like that. This lady had fallen outside her bed and laid outside her bed for nearly half a day because she'd fallen after somebody'd been there. And when the next person went to do her call, they had to get a locksmith to break in. So that took even more time. She was laid there even longer. And they got in, they found her outside her bed. They took her to hospital, and she died. I think it were a week later, she said, because there's 2 cases like this. It were a week later. They put it down to COVID, but she'd been laid outside of that bed, and she'd probably caught the COVID in the hospital, not in the, not in the house. You know what I mean? So they put that down to COVID, but she was 90 years old, 90, right? I know more people live to 90, but a lot of people don't live to 90 in reality, do they? So, and the other person, another old lady, again, she'd fallen, banged her head. She ended up with 15 stitches in her forehead. They took her to hospital. She got the stitches out. She came home, and she died later, and she tested positive to COVID. And so it was COVID that killed her, and she was 100 years old. 100. The other people she knew are friends and a couple of colleagues, but who didn't visit these people. My wife hasn't had COVID. They didn't visit these people, so these people didn't catch it from her colleagues or my wife, and they've just had mild cold symptoms, and they're totally fine now. They isolated for 10 days. I'm not over convinced that these lockdowns are working and that they are designed to protect people. If you can find a yearly death rate chart for the UK that covers from like 10, 20 years back to present day, please let me know, link it to me, or drop me an email. So tell me what you think about that. But also another thing, why is there no registered flu deaths, normal flu? Has flu just disappeared now? The normal flu. There seems to be no deaths from flu, the common, not the common cold, but the normal flu. That I can't understand. Why is it that anybody who dies within 28 days of a positive test, doesn't matter how they die, falling off a ladder counts, is registered as a COVID death? Within 28 days. Now, within 10 days, you're uninfectious, you've got no symptoms, right? They're saying 10 days now. That's what they're doing here. So, why after 28 days? If you die in a car accident and you tested positive for COVID, within 28 days of that means you died of COVID, not the car accident. So, I'm just not totally convinced that that people are being truthful, the people above. I find it a little bit strange, a lot strange, in fact, due to other things that are going off in world elections, EU. But anyway, just one more thing. Now, what about all the extra deaths this year through suicides, through people not getting treatment for cancer and such as? That they are excess deaths. Right? They're extra deaths, what we might not have had if they would have had treatment, or we wouldn't have had lockdown. And the other thing is, the actual tests are very, 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 very unreliable. Coca-Cola tested positive. Elon Musk had 4 tests in one day, 2 positives, 2 negatives. So, was he positive or negative? We don't know. But you've got to see what I'm saying here. There's something really out of skew. It smells fishier than a mermaid's lady garden, let's say. Give us a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Please leave a comment and tell me what you think. And if you can find a chart, let me know about it, because I can't find an annual death rate chart anywhere. And I know that 2018 were really bad. When we had the beast from the east, the death rates were far higher. No lockdowns, no pandemic. So don't forget, it's nice to be nice.